Hello and welcome to FTB Sports. This is the post-match reaction show for the game. Oh no, I've got to do something. Hold on, lads. Just straight. I was a little bit excited, a little bit of a dramatic pause there, but I'm back. Sorry about that. I'll start that bit again. So just rewind a little bit. Hello, welcome to FTB Sports. This is the post-match reaction show for the game Aston Villa versus Spurs, and the score: Aston Villa 0, Spurs 2. And I'm joined, as you can see, by some seriously special guests. We have Mike, we have Darius, we have Marlon Bashman, and we have Spurs Zone TV Tommy in the house. Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry about the little blip at the beginning. There was something going off in the background, but it don't matter. I don't care. It could go all pear-shaped today. I don't mind, because haters gonna hate. And before
we don't know how to react, man. We don't know how to react. A good performance and a good win.
There in the background, a little Bucks fizz.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes good, lads. It tastes good, Dave. The Bucks fizz tastes good. I don't mind a bit of Bucks fizz. So, gentlemen, how are we all doing? After the week from hell, I think for me, yeah, some would say that wasn't a vintage Spurs performance. What I would say to that, I think it was a good Spurs performance. It started off a little bit shaky. Wasn't quite sure about the lineup in terms of the formation. I think there was the changes were needed to be made. I do believe that, Jose went with players that he could trust. He certainly had, players on there like Tanganga, which I did call. I did call that Tanganga one at the right back. Thank you for that. But there was a lot more togetherness in today's performance, and more today for me was man of the match by far. I thought Kane did what he does. He got his goal. He part of the creation of everything good in terms of Spurs, and we just looked like a team that had to win today, because I just think the pressure was so much on us. Confidence was low from the two results, the two games that we had, and I think it was just about getting through. And to be fair to the team today, when I show you the stats, you'll see that we did have control of the game, but the victory was all important. So I'll start with you, Marlon Bashman. How was you? Was you watching the game? You weren't on Championship Manager today, was you?
No, I was watching it. No,
okay.
No.
What did you think of the game today?
Even though I'm always moaning, but I will never stop watching Spurs. No, you have to give them credit. You have to give Mourinho and the team credit. They came out fighting. I'm so happy, man. I'm very happy. Yeah. Promising. I loved everyone's commitment. I did think Lucas stood out for me. This guy, I don't know what's happening for him in the last month or so. He's just found some new energy and played well. The back line, I was a bit worried with Rodon and Sanchez, because I thought Rodon hasn't really been playing much. He doesn't really know the Premiership. I just thought it's a tricky time to play him, but he played well. Everyone played well, even Vinicius. Vinicius done about 5 or 6 challenges. I don't know how he survived so long without getting a yellow card, but he did. But played well. Mourinho, well done.
I think you have to give credit to the players and the manager today. I think the manager took a risk. I think he basically put himself out there on the line by picking the team he did. Yeah. We had Tanganga at right back. We had a partnership of Rodon and Sanchez, one which I was like a little bit concerned a bit. No, there wasn't enough, what I could say was experience there, but certainly I think we more than made up with the desire that those players showed. I have to give Sanchez his credit today. He put his body on the line. He does things which, again, I was saying, that's part of his game. Maybe somebody could help to coach that out of him, but maybe not. But what he did do was he did what he does. His reaction to get back to match runs, his blocking. He put himself in the position to make them blocks. And Rodon, I think, alongside him, looked very assured. It looked like a good partnership could be forming there. I know they didn't have all their players out. Their main threat, Jack Grealish, was out. Barkley didn't start the game. But we were at rock bottom at the start of this game in terms of, confidence. So I'll come to you, Mike. Did you enjoy the performance? You certainly enjoyed the scoreline, because you, my friend, called it 2-0.
Oh, did you?
Called it. He called it. I called it, Marlon. Called it.
Well, take it away.
I knew they wouldn't let me down. I said in the preview, we're not going to score. We're not going to concede. Sorry, we're not going to concede a goal, and they didn't let me down. They kept a clean sheet. They didn't look like they were going to concede either. I thought we were solid. I can't criticize any of the performances. We didn't play like Barcelona, like some people probably would like to have seen us play like, but it was a gritty performance. And I mean, Vinny, it seems like whenever he gets given a chance, 9 times out of 10 he ends up scoring, and he proved it today. Got his first league goal for us.
Was that his first? I was wondering that. Is his
First league goal.
First league goal for us.
Okay.
Yeah. And you don't give the guy a chance. We've said it all season. Give the guy a chance and see what he's about. I mean, the fact that it's his first league game in a team that you could argue our confidence was rock bottom, and he scores a goal. Set up by Mora, and I think the play was initiated by Kane, wasn't it? In the lead up to the goal. So for me, the back line, I thought the back line was solid. Sanchez, he had a good game.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah. After that stick and everyone laughing at me about Sanchez, he came through. It's a Colgate moment. It's a Colgate moment.
He's boosting himself. Look at him.
Look at that smile. Man's he's like, nah. Okay. Fair dues, Mike. I'll take. I'm not going to take everything back about Sanchez, but I'll take back. You have supported him, and I'm on it.
95% you'll probably take back. That buck fizz. Enjoy it, mate. Enjoy it.
I am. Got to.
On a serious note, though, I thought the back four looked. I thought we looked solid. It was a young back four, and I think that's probably what everyone's. When you look back at it, like that starting lineup, where we're all a bit shaking, a bit like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I think the concern was probably one, they haven't played together, and two, it was quite a young back line.
Exactly that. I agree with you.
But if you look at the on the plus side of that, it was a quick back line, and they're all young. So I mean, they all lasted 90 minutes, didn't they? So for me, that back line should be facing Newcastle. I thought Højbjerg and Ndombele solid. Mora, man of the match for me. Job done. 2-0.
What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for?
Before I come to you, Tom, I'm going to go to Darius. What did you think of the performance today? Who was your standout performer in a Spurs shirt today? And was there more than one?
So obviously Lucas Moura, I think everyone can agree that Lucas Moura was probably the best player on the pitch. He was amazing. And I think I agree with everyone. Before I would say, like Marlon said about a month ago, I was questioning whether Lucas Moura could provide anything to the team. Now I'm happy to have him in the squad, in the starting 11. He proves himself. He works hard. He's dedicated to the team. He's dedicated to the club. He wants to play well. He wants to do everything he can. So I welcome players like that. So yeah, and I think another player who I want to personally give credit to is Joe Rodon. And I think Joe Rodon, to come into the team, knowing that you've got Sanchez as your partner, and I'm not trying to discredit Sanchez, but Sanchez is not a leader out of the two centre-backs. He's not going to be the Toby Alderweireld of the centre-backs. He's not going to be the Van Dijk of the centre-backs. So for Rodon to come in, not concede, play well with a brand new back line, that impresses me a lot. I think he's got a massive future at Tottenham. I think he can really, really cement himself as being that fulcrum, that main centre back, and then we find a partner to match him, because he's 6'4". He's got good pace. He can distribute the ball from the back. He's got good defensive qualities. He doesn't really seem like he has a lacking quality. I think his age and his inexperience is obviously going to be hindering him, but he was amazing today. I think he was great. So yeah, those two players I think were good. Højbjerg again, I've noticed now Højbjerg is incredibly important for me, just as important as Kane and Son, because when he doesn't seem to play well, the whole team just seems to not play well, and when he plays well, everybody else does. So those three players for me were the main ones out of this game that really stood out. I think Højbjerg is just so important. We need to get Skip back as a replacement so he can have a rest, and he doesn't look as fatigued as he has for the past few weeks. I think that's why his performances are dipped.
And if he plays well, the rest of them play well, don't they?
Exactly. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. So he's amazing.
It's an energy that just sort of if you see him playing well, the rest want to follow suit, and he's a leader. He is a leader for us.
If he played against Zagreb, we wouldn't have lost.
Just stole my thunder, Tommy. I was just going to add that. I was just going to say that Mike was like chatting over. I was trying to get my words in, and I was just going to say, had he played on Thursday, I don't think we'd have conceded 3 goals. I don't think he'd have allowed the team to
play the way they did. He's a leader in every way. He's a leader.
100%.
He's great.
So Tommy, thank you for joining us today. What was your thoughts on the game? And
I thought it was.
Do you think we did it? Do you think that team now has done enough to, I guess, cement their places for the next league game? Is this what we should be taking forward? Are these the players that we need on the pitch representing Spurs at this moment in time?
Yes, I mean, attacking wise, we never really struggled. We always knew we had a strong attacking unit and centre mid. To be honest with you, it's been a defence. It's been a defence all season long. We've been crying out for Rodon. You know, it's well established he made an error against Liverpool, but it's Liverpool. It's Liverpool. He made an error against, but that's the only thing I've seen him do wrong, really, compared to the other centre backs. He made far more errors. So I'm so happy. I was so happy looking at the team sheet. I had no idea what formation we were going to go with, really. But looking at the team sheet, seeing I thought Tanganga was the big one, and I thought he was magnificent as well.
Very good.
I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Because he's a natural centre back, he can cover as a third centre back. If we are struggling back there, 100%. He can cover as a third centre back. And Reggie didn't last the full 90 minutes. But do you know what? People haven't talked. And Ndombele was absolutely outstanding. He was ducking challenges in centre mid, taking on free. Like, usually, what we see as a number 10, he's learning to do deeper. He's doing it deeper now. What he was doing as a number 10, ducking challenges, getting the ball away, winning free kicks. If he doesn't get past him and he wins the free kick, that's what you've got to do. That's what Grealish does. We're talking about Grealish.
100%.
He's the most fouled player in the Premier League. And people say, oh, you're diving and that. There's contact. He puts his foot in the way and he gets the contact. That's an intelligent player. And that's what Ndombele's doing deeper. He's learning to do that next to Højbjerg, and it's magnificent. If we get Lo Celso going, that attack is, I'm not just saying that as a Spurs fan, that is a nightmare for any defense. Bale on the right, Son on the left, Kane and attack. I haven't even mentioned
Marlon's having it easy.
Forget Bale. I don't think Bale. I think Lucas. It's Lucas, Lo Celso, Son, and Kane.
But isn't he so? But the thing is, what are you going to do? You're going to move Son out from the left and put Lucas on the left, because Lucas seems to be a world beater on the left, an absolute world beater on the left. Because,
but he's not better than Son on the left.
Exactly.
No,
I think coming inside suits Lucas. I think he didn't. Honestly, I don't think he even messed a pass up. Oh no, he messed one pass up. That's how I actually was focusing on what he'd done badly, because everything was perfect. Took on his man. Every pass was pretty much successful. Absolutely fantastic. And everyone said he's a man of the match. I completely agree. Great performance from the boy. Second half, especially, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
No diss to Bale, but I don't think Bale's got the work rate of any of those players I just mentioned in the four.
You're right.
So I don't think he will play.
No, definitely not.
That's why he's much better when we're dominating teams and we're dominating games, because he can do what he wants. We don't really suffer from that, do we? But when you're chasing the game, he can't play, and that's nothing on Bale, because it's just he's 32 years old and he's got other qualities that we can redeem. But no, you're right about that, man. I just wanted to say that. Yeah,
we just look so much more solid on that right hand side, where it's been a problem. Like, I wouldn't even bother with Aurier anymore. I mean, if Tanganga can carry on putting those performances in, he's got that right back spot, because we didn't get no one got in behind him. Whereas Aurier and Doherty, it's just non-stop play. That's a weakness for us, but it didn't seem like that today.
I think Tommy made a very good point, because Tanganga is a natural centre back. What I used to have a problem with is when Sanchez used to go out into the wide positions, was when the crossover happened, where someone like Aurier would then come into the centre back area.
Yeah,
that's not such a problem when Tanganga comes back into the centre back, because he can play there. So if Sanchez does drift out, and that's his problem, he does drift out into them wide areas and then leaves it exposed. So when Aurier is high up the pitch, there's nobody covering that central area. But what happens?
And how many times did Tanganga win the header from the set piece that they put in? They had lots of set pieces.
Exactly.
Put some good set pieces in, and as a third centre back, he's winning everything in the air. Absolutely brilliant.
And that's the point about him being a right back that has centre back qualities. Is you can afford then for someone to be out of position if he then fills that position. Because when Sanchez is always out and we had Dyer in there, the ball comes across and there was always another opposition player scoring goals. This didn't happen so much today. Yeah. And even when we did get that, they did get the ball in this area, we blocked better. We blocked much better than I've seen us do for a long time. It looked like they was just said, look, we don't want them to score. We'll throw our bodies, we'll do anything. And that's all I want to see from a team that plays for Spurs.
Yeah. And as a centre back, the first thing you're always thinking is, right, is anyone behind me? You've just always seem a little bit more spatially aware than maybe your fullbacks, because you're the last person between you and the goal, aren't you? So
100%.
That might be why Tanganga just seems that more solid at right back, because he's always cautious of the fact that he doesn't want anyone getting in behind him because they know through on goal. He just automatically thinks that, but.
I think Tanganga is great. I think also somebody mentioned, I can't remember who it was. Somebody mentioned about Tanganga also playing in a 3. I personally believe that 3-5-2 could work amazing for us, because I feel like it tightens all our holes and it leaves us with 3 centre backs, and then also because we have wing backs. Region, I think he's improved defensively under Mourinho, but he's not necessarily known for his defensive qualities. I think him as a wing back in a 5 with 3 centre backs, if we had him and Doherty or him and Aurier, even if it was Aurier, and Tanganga was the 3rd centre back as a right centre back, that could work really well. And also it could allow us to be fluid in the game as well and change our formation in the game. That's why I like to see him playing as a right back and a centre back. I think it could really work out. So it just allows us to give us more options, really. Tanganga was amazing today. You're right in what you said. I should have mentioned him as well.
Yeah, good. So before we get back into the stats and look at the starting line, let's just have a few of the comments. So welcome to football, said hi to us. Zach Forbes, congrats, good result, guys. Do you go out and purchase Vinny or look for other options? What do you think,
36.
guys?
Not for 36.
I thought it's not 45, but I still wouldn't pay that. That's ridiculous.
If you get him for half that value, half that price, I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted with him. Half the price, not the full price. No,
is it 45 million euros? Yeah, 45 million euros.
So it's 36, isn't it? I think
36 million pounds. Yeah, 36 million pounds. Yeah.
Pipe 71, it's a very small step against the lower to bottom table team. Talk to me when we play one of the big boys. We're flat track bullies at the moment. Pipes, come on.
Pipes is so mad.
Villa not lower to bottom.
You can't hate like that today. Come on, Pipes, man. You're with
Pipes got a
us
smile. Pipes got a smile today still. He's got a smile.
You can't be like that. They are a decent outfit. Now, what I will say, the 2 main threats in terms of Jack Grealish and obviously, what's his name? Ross Barkley didn't start today. But they still had only one.
Barkley can't get in the team. It's not that he didn't start. He can't get in the team.
That's it. Yeah, he didn't start.
McGinn and Luis are really good. They did play well, to be fair.
Okay, fair enough. I thought when Jack was playing with Ross, they looked like a good partnership.
Them two together are well. But I think that when Jack Grealish ain't playing, Ross Barkley don't really work.
He don't start. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Jack Grealish was massive. Like I know I don't want to be negative, but if Jack Grealish was playing and Sanchez was playing the way he was playing in terms of running out, it could have gotten ugly. That's the only thing I look at, but that's all hypothetical. So he wasn't playing. So
Tanganga is amazing at marking his man, though. The Man City game, he was our best player. He had Sterling. Sterling was on the left. Sterling had to go to the right because he was so dominant against him, and we know what happened against Davis. Sterling against Davis. So I think Tanganga is about as solid as a right back as you can get. Him and Wan-Bissaka, in terms of defending, him and Wan-Bissaka, I think they're top. I think they're top of their game.
All right, sure. I'm not jumping on that Wan-Bissaka bandwagon. Darius is one who told me this. Wan-Bissaka looks like a Rastafarian playing football, but that's another story. Let's not go into that. But that's what I think. Anyway, Colin has said we've got to continue with youth in the side. How do I join the channel, guys? Well, that's a good point, Colin. So if you want to join the channel, press the subscribe button. It should be in the description, so you can do that. Welcome, and if you're a first-time viewer, please do the same. Like, subscribe, comment. Welcome to football. All stick for life. 3-0, boys. Here we go. More comments here. My value: Kane 120 million, Son 90, Bale 40, Sanchez 20, Reguilon 70. Darius as our centre back, 300 mil. So he values you, Darius. He values you. Yeah, Jack was in.
They call me the Black Beckenbauer. That's what they call me.
Marlon, I'm going to come to you. What did you think of the manager's performance today? I know he wasn't on the pitch, but did Jose do anything to kind of maybe convince you that he's got until at least the end of the season now?
No.
I'm going to put you on big screen, Marlon. Putting you on big screen.
I always said give him to the end of the season. There's no point in changing it. But if we don't get Champions League, which I don't think we'll get anyway, I think he might go. But if we're playing like this, as we played today and continue, he can stay, man. I like positive performance. I know I must be all over the place, isn't it? Positive performances. If you're playing negative, you're gonna frustrate me. But at least today we had a goal and we won. You can't have our players and play negative football. I know when people say we had attacking players out there, but if you're sitting them in a position or making them sit back, it doesn't work. Attack. We've got a good team. Go for it. I like the way you put me on the spot there, though.
I had to do that.
I'm ready for that one. Hold on, let me think of this.
wasn't too long ago that we were all in meltdown. It was like, if we lost today, I don't know what I'd have done. It was like, oh, what can we do? Because it was going to be a problem. We were really going to have a problem going into the international break. There was going to be, everybody would have probably been calling for the manager. Like I said, the manager is not blameless in all of this. The manager has got a part to play. But I think what today has almost proved to me is that there are certain players that maybe the manager doesn't trust and who don't put in the effort to warrant a starting 11 place. There was this Aurier and Toby being ill today. Not so sure about that, but we can only go by what they've told us. You know, it was very telling. Doherty wasn't even in the 19 or whatever it is that they've named. There was a few players here that were kind of like, right, okay, they might not play many more games for Spurs. I don't mind seeing the likes of someone like Dele Alli still remain if they can, you know, do something. You know, but yeah, attitude as well.
Ali's it's not just this year. The last couple of seasons, he just slows us down. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player.
Yeah,
but he just
got to fit a system in it
too much. Yeah, it's just.
I literally think it's the country that he's playing in. I think the Premier League is not sort of suited. He needs to go La Liga, and where he can just kind of dictate play and be the better player among all. Because when he's not the better player and people are putting pressure on him, it doesn't seem like he can kind of work with pressure anymore. It kind of seems like he needs to be in space or finding space, or do you know what I mean? Not being occupied by a player, because everyone's playing with a DM now. So he's not going to have that space to kind of just roam around and run onto the last defender. That's not happening for Ali anymore. He's got to change his game up, and I don't think he really wants to do that. So it's going to be difficult.
I think it's part of confidence as well. I think he's confident.
Do you still think it's just a confidence thing?
I honestly think I do think Ali's he's still a baller. I still think so. But he's just, something's just not working for him, and I don't think you don't lose your talent overnight, do you? You don't just become a bad player, or you don't just lose it overnight. He's still young, so I mean, it's not like he's lost his legs or anything like that. I just think it's confidence, and the system just probably doesn't suit him.
It's been 3 years, though. It's been 3 years. It's been 3.5 years. It's not since Mourinho's been in charge. The last 2 years under Pochettino, he was awful. He was all over the place.
I'd say the last season.
I agree.
Under Poch, last season.
When Mourinho took over, it was like, I think it's his brother playing or whatever. He come out with some ridiculous. I think that's Dele Alli's brother playing. I don't know whether his brother's a footballer. I don't know what's going on. But he said that because it was like a shadow of what he used to be. The late runs into the box. The young Lampard. He's the young Lampard. He's the future Lampard. He was scoring 10, 15 goals a season as an attacking. It's incredible. If you've got that, if you have those goals as well as Kane and Son, forget about it. We're gonna be chasing for titles like we were in 15, 16, 17. I think he needs to leave Spurs. If he's going to come back, come back and do something, I think he needs to leave Spurs, and I think it's good for Spurs. Forget 40 minutes.
It's been 5-6 years, and like you say, Tommy, he's 24. He's got a price tag on it. He will have value. Like if you can find an English club who want to spend money on a 24-year-old centre attacking mid, look at Jesse Lingard. I'm not saying Jesse Lingard's on that level, but he left Man United, and he looks like he's flipping amazing, and he is playing amazing, Jesse Lingard. So I do think you're right in what you're saying. I think the freshness of a new club, and also kind of being not that he's not being respected at Tottenham, but he's not seen as that golden boy anymore. He's not seen as that next big thing. If he goes into a team and he's the main guy and he's being seen as like, you're Dele Alli, like you are one of the best players on the team, I think, like you said, the confidence will come back. I don't think the confidence will come back with a different manager, and I also don't think the confidence will come back with a different change in formation.
And good luck to him. Good luck to him, man, because he was absolutely outstanding for us. He's absolutely outstanding for us. And he
I just genuinely think 19 was his peak, wasn't he? 19. He's just scored 19 goals in what was it? Your first season coming into the Premier League. You're never going to top that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I didn't think it was that many. That's incredible. Nearly 20 goals.
I still think, as Mike said, I think Dele Alli is still a very talented footballer. Maybe the system doesn't suit. Maybe he's one of them players that does need to be almost like babied, I would say. You are well done, Dele. You're great. You're fantastic. And Poch did that to him for the few seasons that he had him. And then I guess form kind of comes and goes, and he never really got it back. But I still think we can still see a really good Dele Alli for us at Spurs. I hope he can, but I just don't know what he's going to make himself into. He doesn't fit as a 10 in this squad. We cleared 4-4-2 today, but as a 2, I think Carlos and Kane would be better than that. So what system does Dele fit into? I'm not quite sure. Let's just have a few more of these comments. So Callum, I've been watching for a while. Are you going to do a membership? We are going to try and sort all those things out, Callum. So thank you for asking that question.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned indeed.
Yeah.
Welcome to football. I don't care if we get relegated as long as we finish on top of Arsenal. Well, I wouldn't quite go that far. But I understand.
I want to finish above West Ham. I just want to finish above West Ham, man.
This comment here is funny.
This one, Darius, they're on you again tonight. Welcome to football. Darius is an undercover Arsenal fan.
I'm sussing out who this is. I've got like 5 names in my head right now. I've got 5 names in my head right now.
Again. They've got to put themselves together a new
yeah, they've made a burner account. You know, one of them.
Watch the preview show. They must have watched the preview show.
They've made a burner and they've come on here. I'm going to find out who that is.
Mike and Tommy, let's see your hair. They're calling you out as well. They're calling you out.
I can't. I've had my missus getting a lockdown haircut. I ain't showing that to the world.
There's nothing there.
And she's probably watching this as well, so there's no way.
I'm thinking about getting a rat tail. To make up for it, you know?
I'm keeping this on the down low at the moment.
Here's this one. This is a good one. 24-24. Yo, Moura turned into prime Messi. He grew his hair back mid-game. Mourinho players that care. The reaction from Vinny when he scored. Attack.
I love that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So again, with no Grealish, it probably made a difference. Of course, it made a difference to them. The Grealish has created the most chances of any player in the Premiership, I believe, this season. So any player that does that, you're gonna miss him. But we can only, as they say, the saying goes, beat what's in front of us. Dele just needs to get in the gym to make himself more of a physical presence on the field. I think
he's a pretty big guy, isn't he? How tall is Dele Alli?
He's got to be about
6'2".
6'2" is a good height.
6'1".
Between 6'1" and 6'2".
He's a good height.
Let's go into this. This was the preview predicted lineup. This is what I thought might be the case. So I did call it right with Tanganga being at the back. Sanchez. I think we talked about possibly having Rodon in there, maybe for Sanchez, not necessarily for Toby. Didn't see that one coming, to be honest. Reguilon on left back, we think we all agree with that. Ndombele, Højbjerg has to be. I did think Lo Celso was going to start, not where he starts on this particular graphic, but he did start. Bale didn't start, obviously, and Moura, Kane were in the lineup as well. So the real difference was the actual formation. That kind of was a 4-4-2. So this was what the starting lineup was. So the back four, as we know, Tanganga, Sanchez, Rodon, Reguilon. Lo Celso played from that right-hand side. Didn't look comfortable there, if I'm honest with you. He did drift a little bit. Ndombele, Højbjerg. Højbjerg does what Højbjerg does. And Ndombele, you know, after the first 5 minutes, they were trying to crash into him. And then once they realised that wasn't going to take him off his game, they left him alone because he was
so good.
He was making players look silly. Moura, I think we've all agreed, was man of the match today. I think he had a fantastic game. Pops up everywhere. Energy all over the shop. Kane, where would we be without Kane and his goals and his assists? I am not quite sure.
I think he's top goal scorer and top assister now in the Premier League.
I believe
off.
I think he's top of both now.
What did you guys think of? What did you guys think of the actual partnership between him and Kane today, in terms of Vinny and Kane?
Needs to be worked on, I would say.
I think because it was a diamond. There wasn't much of a connection. Kane was going out to the right to fill in the fact that
Kane was on that right side quite a lot
for a lot of the game. Yeah, because when we were crossing balls into the box, it wasn't Vinny and Kane. Kane was on the right wing. I was shouting out, "Come on, get yourself in the box, get yourself in the box." But you know what? If you have a diamond, you don't have an out-and-out right winger. And plus, Tanganga is not the most explosive right back, so that right wing is pretty much there's no one there. But so it was. We should have played more direct, I think, in the first half, because it was a little bit of a struggle. You got two big boys up top. You know, one or the other could chest it down, and Lloris kept playing away. Lloris played short balls to the left back, to the set. I think it called for direct football sometimes, because there was a struggle in the first half. They did have a shot on goal, but they were getting crosses into the box. Our centre backs played really well, but so I don't think there's much of a connection. But I think in a large part that was down to the diamond formation.
If you play a diamond, it allows you to do a couple of things. Width wise, you're not really you shouldn't necessarily have to rely on playing wide, because you only really got one player in that area. But what a diamond does allow you to do, you've got two target men, so you can play direct. But if you are a team that's confident and in possession, you can then play through the thirds, because you've got 2 points at the diamond. You've got the point at the number where the number 4 would be, as in Højbjerg, but then you've also got someone in that 10 position. So if you play it right and the players that are on the pitch are comfortable in possession, a diamond is one of the best formations for keeping good possession. It's then a case of, right, what do you do in the wide areas? You have to have a fullback that can get up and down. That's the most important thing. They have to have energy to get up and down because they're on their own, are isolated. I think we didn't necessarily always have that done. Sometimes we did play a flat 4-4-2, particularly out of possession. But you were right in what you're saying, Tommy. There, Lo Celso popped up in that central area sometimes. I saw Moura kind of do that as well. So they were kind of trying to, maybe put Villa off of thinking that we were just going to play a certain way, which, again, is all part of the tactics of the game. I'd like to ask you guys what you think the actual possession stats were. Do you think that we were in control of the game before I put it up? That is, unless you know already.
I'd say the stats. I'd say that favour us more than Villa. I would say 55-45 or something.
Now, I think what's confusing me is I think Villa in the first half, they kind of dominated the ball, but they didn't really have any shots. We weren't letting them have any shots.
They didn't have a single shot. They didn't have a single shot, actually. I looked at the stats at half time. How mad they didn't have a single shot. They had 4 or 5 in the second half when they weren't as good. It's crazy.
I'm gonna put up the stats for today's game.
Wow.
So they had 8 in the second half. They had 8 in the second half.
So there you go.
Crazy.
51-49, roughly 50-50. 9 shots to 8, 1 on target from Villa. So all those areas which they were in that final third, they only had 1 shot on target in the whole game. We had 3, 8 corners, 5 fouls. Go on, Mike, what are you going to say?
You'd expect them to have more shots in the second half when they're chasing the game, though. So
yeah, true.
True.
You'd expect that, wouldn't you? So I mean, the fact that he had 1 shot on target, I think the back line should be quite happy with themselves tonight.
The back line were great, and the thing is, like you said, you don't really realize it. It's like it was basically a completely different back line. It was like Tanganga right back, Rodon Sanchez, Reguilon. It was a weird one, and I was a little bit like, I don't really know if this is going to work. But boy, they've got. Somebody mentioned again. I think was it you, Mike, who said they all have a bit of pace in them. They're all quite quick players. So
that was the quickest back line I think we've probably had all season. But I think Lloris should be quite happy with that back line because the restriction on goals on target, or sorry, not goals on target, shots on target against him. He should be pretty chuffed that back line.
They protected him. They threw their bodies in the way,
which is what as a keeper you want.
That's exactly what you want. And they were doing it. They weren't just doing it because it was almost desperation. It looked like they had right, they are going to shoot from there. And players were going out to the ball. So it weren't just turning their backs and kind of like, where you think players are doing that and they're not sure what's happening. It looked like they had an idea of how they were going to defend. And that's what I want to see. I want to see less players just all over the place and a little bit more cohesion. Like I said, the first 10, 15 minutes, you could see they were a new partnership, a new unit in terms of back four. But I think they grew into the game the more confidence they had. Like I said, scoring that first goal was essential today.
This is just me thinking like out loud, but I think that defense now, when I look at that defense and the 4 that were played, we can actually probably play a high line and probably do quite well now.
Probably get away with it.
I was thinking that.
The pressing game could be. It could come back. Yeah, it could come back. Especially like you say, if they can play a high line, it's going to take someone incredibly quick to beat that back line for pace.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the comment from Welcome to Football? We need a new defence.
I do agree, but I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at the defence now. We might not need to spend like 60 mil on a centre back. We might need to get like a competent centre back and try and.
There's some Deadwood there for sure. I mean, of course, there's
100%.
Deadwood.
Yeah. Get rid of Dyer. He ain't coming back.
100%. Yeah. He doesn't even count as homegrown. He doesn't even count as homegrown either, Dyer. We've got to look at that because if you sell Dele Alli Winks, he doesn't count. He was brought up in Portugal, wasn't he? So
it's not. Apparently, Real Madrid are going to come back in for Reguilon.
That doesn't surprise me.
They've got Mendy there.
He's got to want to go back there though, hasn't he? Because that whole five back, he has to agree to it. So
it's the game time, he said, isn't it? He said it's a game time. I mean, they've got Marcelo and Mendy now. Marcelo's getting injured all the time at the moment. So I don't imagine Reguilon wanting to go back and play in 50-50 game time with Mendy. And Mendy is like Zidane loves Mendy at the moment. Yeah. He's a starting left back for them. So hopefully, what I want to happen is Mendy continues to have a worldie. Marcelo has 1 more season, and then that release clause will run out after next season.
I think also if we win a cup, I think that could change the whole mentality of some of the squad. They might be like, well, actually, we've won something here. there's something we could, if we say for another season, we could build on that.
But Ron's already going back to Real Madrid. There's no way he's going to start already going back to Real Madrid.
Yeah. It just depends who he wants to go, though, isn't it?
I was going to say. So we've got it confirmed. Joint top scorer and top assist, and that's Kane.
That's ridiculous.
Facts: Arsenal fans need to accept Kane is better than Aubameyang. I've known that for a long time. So I don't need to be told that.
Wait, were we debating that? Was that like a question?
I don't know how that even come up, but it has.
Ooh.
So that's been done. Colin has also said, "Do you think Scarlett will get minutes next season?"
No, I'm gonna be real. Nah, but he'll probably be like he'll probably get FA Cup minutes. But if you're talking Premier League minutes, not a chance. I don't think.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Do you really think?
I think Scarlett carries on. I mean, he's an absolute goal machine in the academy. There's no reason why he can't be given minutes in the right situation in matches.
Yeah, true.
Give him the experience, and I honestly think he could be absolutely massive for Tottenham.
He looks outstanding. But isn't it better to give him experience in a Championship or League One team where he's going to play every week?
When he's 17, I'm not sure. When he's 18, 19, 100%, I think he needs to go on loan if he's not a starting. Or if he's
that's
not
the thing. Yeah, maybe he's a little bit too
much. If you've got it, you've got it. There's no point hindering a player if they've got that ability to be potentially massive. Just give the guy give him the minutes, give him the time, give him the experience. I mean, if we get Europa, play him in Europa. What I was
going to say. Everybody's stealing my thunder today. I'm trying to come up with my things, and people are chatting. And then I'm just about to say this, and then Mike's come out and said that same one. I was just going to say, if we don't get CL, I would say that we are going to get some form of European football, whether it's this new competition or it's Europa, whatever what it is. And so I can see them playing someone like that in that competition because there's going to be a load of early round games for us to play. So it's an ideal opportunity. I think we shouldn't send him on, and I think we should keep him. Go on, Mark.
How does it work? How does it work with this new European
Conference League? I don't know, bro. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in it.
If we are in it, we've got to use it to only use fringe and young players. I don't want to see any of the normal gods in there. That's all I want to see.
100%.
Don P. Hi, Don. Partnership didn't work well with Kane and Vinicius, but they both scored. Again, I did.
You've got to build on something, haven't you? It's not going to work straight away. It's like with anything.
I don't think it was because either one was bad. I just don't think there was a partnership. I don't think the style we played was really partnership.
That's what I'd go with that sort of comment. I don't think it was bad.
Nah. Just give him time.
Give him time.
Like with anything, time makes something. Like if you want something to blossom, you've got to give them time to enable a sort of partnership to.
And that's why the Rodon thing didn't make sense to me because I don't think we haven't given him enough time.
We haven't even put him in the Europa League squad. That's what baffled me. It's not. It's like cool. You're not going to play him in the Premier League, but not to put him in the Europa League squad. That's wild. Like that is wild.
But Mourinho did say that the reason that Rodon didn't get into the European squad was because he was trying to be fair to the other players that had been around and been playing in Europa, and he wanted to be fair.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like that's something I wouldn't expect Jose Mourinho to say. If you've got a chance of winning something, and you've got a bet. If you see Dyer the way he's played in Rodon, and you choose Dyer based on you feel bad for Dyer, I'm sorry. That doesn't. I know you're trying to keep the harmony. I get that. I understand.
That's the harmony, isn't it? That's the whole.
Yeah, I do understand that, but I just think that. Even if you had to sacrifice one of the youngsters, because like, is it Lavernier was in the squad, and like even if one of those couldn't go to Europe, like I'd rather you just put another centre back in and get one of the youngsters.
Then you've got to ask yourself, Dyer's in England as an international, so there should be no issue with him being
only
in
because Southgate's choosing him. Honestly, I think he's terrible. He's terrible.
I don't disagree with you. But
I want to know how he gets in that squad. How does?
But if you're playing for England, you should be more than capable of playing in Europa.
Konsa should be over him. Konsa should have got his place in the team over Dyer.
Konsa, probably.
We do struggle. We do struggle at centre back. Let's face it. We do.
This comment here
that is the position.
24. Unpopular opinion. We looked better when Reguilon went off. Also, do you think about Mourinho pretty much? What do you think about Mourinho pretty much calling out the ages of some certain players before the match? I didn't see that as pre-match.
In like the actual ages, like 30, 20, 29, 31.
Yeah, I think he might.
I did not hear that.
I think he's referring to the age of the squad. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to obviously go back. I've recorded the game, so I'll probably go back and have a look at that.
I didn't even hear that neither.
I never heard that, so I'm not sure. Pipe 71. Vinicius and Kane won't need to work on their partnership as Kane will be gone in the summer. Pipes, man. Pipes. Pipes.
Yeah, is he a
Pipes is
Spurs
like the
fan?
opposite of Mike.
He's a
Pipes
Spurs
is
fan,
in
but
the,
he's
Pipes in
gone.
the chat.
You got $250
Pipes is
million pounds.
gone.
You got $250 million. They can have him.
He ain't going anywhere yet.
Truth,
He's got another
truth,
season
Tommy.
than us.
Oh,
Pipes has
250
just
mil
lost
minimum.
it. Pipes, we won today. Come on, man.
Smile,
We won
Pipes.
today.
Smile, smile.
Smile. Smile.
Colgate boom.
Unpopular opinion. Campbell for Tottenham is better than him for Arsenal.
Campbell.
Fraser.
Unless he's talking Sol Campbell. I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Anyway,
he's talking about Sol Campbell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got to be. Yeah.
if we only lose 2 games, can we get CL? Can we
What's
still
our
get
last
CL?
couple games? Who have we
We
got
got
left?
decent
If we
running.
lose 2 more
I
games,
was just
can
looking
we
at that,
get CL?
Marlon. It's not impossible, but it's also not easy. It's like a lot of middling teams, which kind of gives me a bit of confidence. I'm just gonna have a look at
But
this.
Marlon,
So it's Newcastle
Marlon,
United, Everton,
I
Sheffield,
want-
Leeds, Wolves, Aston Villa, Leicester.
Marlon,
We
if we
get-
don't get top 4, but let's say we get 5th or 6th, but we do win the Carabao Cup, is Jose still on the boot him out list? Is he still got to go?
Unfortunately,
Man, that's
I like putting you on solo, man. You know that already. You know that already.
I would say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think he would get at least, dependent on how we start next season. If we start bad, he's gone. But I think he'll still be here. It depends how we finish the season. If we finish good,
Right.
he will stay.
Well, the thing is, we only need a run of results, and we could be right in that mix, top 4. So, and then if we do get top 4, and we get the Carabao Cup, Mourinho 100% keep his job. He won't go.
They'll have to
think
invest though with that Europe money. They'll have to.
I
think-
agree, 100%.
think-
I don't want Mourinho's negative players though. It's just going to be it's going to be a negative team, more negative than it is now.
What
It's
I
like-
think, though, Tommy, what I'll say though is, I think what's happened over the last few weeks, definitely over the last week, and with all the interviews that come out, Lloris coming out and saying what he's saying, and Jose coming out and saying what he's saying, it has shown us as fans, at least we now understand that it's not just down to one thing. It's not just the manager, it's not just the players, it's a massive collective. Today's performance, as I keep saying, has showed me that there are players in this squad, in this team, that do want to play, that do want to win, that do want to honor the badge. And that's all I want to see from any player that plays. Now, players that now may be coming, because we're not going to have a lot of rotation now until we get, maybe the cup final. Who is going to play in that cup final? That's going to be the interesting one for me. He can only go with the players he trusts. He can only do that.
Well,
But Toby has to start that final though, and Toby
depends on. I think it all depends on this last stretch of the season, who's playing and who's performing.
Yeah,
I mean,
leading up to it, yeah.
If we get a
Leading
run
up
of
to it.
results and we keep this back line as it is, and we don't concede many goals, and I don't think you can really argue with that back line starting against Man City. I think you'd have to start them, but I think, apart from Son today, you'd have Son back in the team.
100.
Bale, you probably would be happy to keep on the bench, but the rest of that side, you'd probably start against Man City, wouldn't you?
I probably would start Lamella against Man City.
What I would say
There's
to that
Lamella.
is,
It's Lamella.
what I would say to that is, we have got obviously league games before that final. We have got Newcastle, and then we've got Man United. It's going to be very interesting. The team selection against United. I think it should be a given against Newcastle, but it's never a given in football. But the
Against
Man United
Newcastle,
game,
Especially what happened last time as well, yeah.
but the Man United game, that is going to be very interesting. That's a real benchmark for us in terms of how we finish this season, I think.
And it's a great test for that back line as well.
Marlon,
If they
talk
keep
more.
it.
Welcome to football.
Yeah,
Said
I
to
saw
you
that.
to talk.
I saw that.
That's what he said to you.
I didn't see that. I was like,
I
what?
like
That's
Welcome
how
to
cool
Football. He's got
that's
jokes
how
in it. I
cool your
like him.
face
I
was,
like him. I like him.
Man said, I don't even know how your voice sounds.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
we
I
can
was
laugh
gonna-
today. We can laugh. We can laugh.
What I was
He's
gonna
playing. He's playing Football Manager Touch on his phone. He's playing Football Manager Touch on his phone during.
Nah, stop. You know, I was
Colin
going to say, I
said,
think it might be a
Go on.
blessing in disguise that we're not in Euros, because we're going to have more time to obviously go through tactics and relax. So these last 9 games, we might actually do something
Yeah.
positive.
Go on,
And even
Marlon.
the cup-
Yo,
I'm just serious.
Come on,
Oh,
Marlon.
wow.
He's back, you know. He's
A round
back.
of applause.
Nah, man, I told you I can't take negativity. So if we're positive, I'm positive. If we're negative, you're gonna get me moaning. I'm easy. I will moan easily.
Colin said, if Saka and Smith were in our academy, I don't think they would have got a chance. The young players are hungry. We've got a good setup. I think we've got some good players, but I don't know.
That's the one thing I kind of criticize about Tottenham. I don't really see any, apart from Kane. Like, have we really been breeding like proper players of potential? Like, yeah, like if you think about all the top, think about all the top 6 academies, you've got Smith Rowe, Saka, Foden, Greenwoods, you know what I mean, Mounts, Abrahams. You can look to all their academies, and they've got good like potential Premier League quality. Winks is not Premier League quality, and he came from the academy, so
I think he's Premier League quality, just not top 4, top 6.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to see a few more proper good players. I don't know how we can improve that. I'm not into.
Well, you just have to look at the players that are coming through now. A lot. There's 7 of them on loan. There's some very good youngsters coming through now. Like you've got Parrott, you've got, as I say, Scarlett, who we've mentioned.
Skip,
Clark.
We need another attacker.
There's a lot of players.
We need to get an attacker through, an attacking youth player. We've got the centre mid Skips, the Masons, the Livermores, the Tangangas. Where's the last left winger or right winger we got through? I know there's Alfie Devine.
You got Clark.
People were talking about Alfie Devine.
No,
I don't know.
You got Clark, who's out at Stoke at the moment.
He's doing any good.
About him.
He's picking. Apparently, the Stoke City fans are highly sort of praising him. And
yeah, I heard that they're annoyed he's not playing more. But he got no games with QPR the first half of this season. He got no games in the second half of last season.
I want you guys to come back on this comment here. Basically, Mourinho was saying that the youngsters have some better abilities than the aging Toby and Sissoko, maybe. That's why they didn't play. Dyer is a hot point fridge. I would prefer Marlon at centre-back.
Marlon do a job, though. Marlon would do a job.
Marlon would do
a solid job.
When it comes to centre-back. I don't know this player. We should buy Tonali.
Sanchez, nah. He's like a DM more than a... Nah.
Gio
That's
Reyna?
someone now. Welcome to Football Knows Ball, because that's someone I would take in a heartbeat. He's at Dortmund now, and he's an attacking mid. And he's different to Ali, where he will try. Like at the end of the day, Premier League, you need to press now. At the end of the day, if you're not pressing, look at Lucas. Lucas and Reyna are kind of similar in the fact that they're small, very, very intense. You have to work hard now. You can't be like an Ozil type of number 10 anymore. That's last decade for me, in my opinion. I don't think you can kind of get carried in the Premier League being a number 10.
Who do we think at right wing? Who do we think on a right wing if you don't have Bale? What are the options?
Oh, I'd take Rafinha from Leeds. I want Rafinha from Leeds. Yeah, I like
him. Man. Ismail Assar. I love Assar.
He's good player. Sam Maximan, if Newcastle go down, I'd take him.
Has he started?
There's so many good, tricky right wingers. Yeah, Sarr starts. He's a proper start for.
Oh yeah, no, he was probably one of the best players towards the end of last season when he went down. Yeah, he's outstanding. He's got everything, man. He's got everything.
So what we've got, Colin saying the Bale money could have been spent on the centre backs. Our requirements need to improve. Our recruitment, I think that should be saying. The recruitment, we never really seem to have done fantastically well since the Bale saga. When we got all that money for Bale, we went and we spent a whole load of money on a whole load of players. Maybe we should have definitely identified areas and really invested in them heavily. Instead,
that's kind of what we do, isn't it? I've noticed that we kind of just buy, we just buy like 15 players, and then 5 or 6 of them might be good, and then the rest of them
exactly.
We spread ourselves.
Yeah, but you've got to think as a chairman, just to appease the fan. If you buy 1 or 2 players, they're not going to be happy. Come on, we like all these 5, 6, 7 players.
If they change the team, though, look at Alisson and Van Dijk. You spent 70 million, 60 million on those 2 players. If you identify the right players and you drop the money on them and they perform, I would be more happy with 1 or 2 that impact the 11. But like, I know what you mean, Marlon. We haven't got a very good track record of dropping 50 million on. We put 42.5 million on Sanchez, and I'm not trying to hate the guy, but he's not worth 42 million pounds. So it's like, you're going to spend that money.
We spent 15 million on Llorente, and he's 32.
Exactly. He's 32. So you need to be smart. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Very true. Right, gentlemen, I think we've reached the end of the show. It's been a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but as you can see,
winning ways.
Just one more thing for those out there. Cheers, lads. Cheers.
What's happened to my camera?
What else happened to your camera, Marlon?
I didn't even realize. I wasn't even paying attention to you, bro.
He's back. He's back. We're actually now going, Marlon. We're done now. But you're back, so you can also be part of the buys. Anyway, like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's get ourselves to 500 subscribers as soon as possible. In the next few weeks, we'll be making some announcements with regards to various different changes on the channel in terms of individual channels, but that will all come in time. So we're going to have a Spurs channel, we're going to have a Manchester United channel, all associated with FTB, Liverpool, Arsenal, all in the future. So look out for those exciting times to come. I feel all right now. I feel all right.
I can just go happy. I can go to sleep happy with a smile.
Wait,
I will sleep well tonight.
It's just a weight has gone, man.
Yeah.
Weight.
It's nice sleep. You can have a nice sleep now.
You know why? We got a good team. That's what it is.
Also, we're not going to get our phones ain't going to get pinged 24/7 from gooners and stuff. They're all quiet tonight.
Quiet, innit? No Tipper. I didn't hear nothing from Tipper today.
Nothing.
You know, you heard from Tipper today, Marlon?
Nope.
Early night.
Even though
Early night.
Hey, is that what they've done? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like I said, as the last thing to say again, could you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button? We want to try and get as many of you, if you like the content, to subscribe and know exactly what comes out and when. Gentlemen, Mike, Darius, Marlon, Tommy, thank you very much for joining the show. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'm happy, and we can go out. See ya.